Awesome. All right. Hi, everyone. This is exciting. Hello.
Hello.
I have Lara here again, beautiful Lara Dawn. Today we're talking about how we can harness the power of love to help support our ADHD child's emotions and emotional regulation. This is an interesting topic, huh? I'm excited.
It is. Yeah, I just wanted to say, there's two kinds of parenting, it seems like the soft parenting where you have the snuggles and the kisses and all those happy, cutesy moments. And those are the easy times. Those are the soft, easy times. Then we've got the hard parenting times, like go brush your teeth, come for dinner. I've asked you 10 times to come for dinner. Can you please come for dinner? Get ready for school, stop fighting with your brother, like all the hard stuff. And when you're raising a child with ADHD, it feels like, no, it doesn't feel like, there is more of the hard parenting. So it's like you're pushing a boulder uphill and it's exhausting. And when you're dealing with kids with ADHD, their brains have an imbalance of neurotransmitters like dopamine, which is the feel-good chemical, and adrenaline. And these kids are also receiving, by the age of 12, 20,000 more negative comments than a neurotypical peer. So this is exhausting. We've got parents who have this imbalance of having to do so much more of the hard parenting than the soft parenting. And we have kids who are emotionally dysregulated and who are dealing with a lot of negative feedback. So why not harness the power of love for these kids?
Yeah.
And it sounds so fluffy and sweet. Oh yes, the power of love, but there's actually science behind it.
Yes, I like how you mentioned dopamine and oxytocin, things like that. Yeah, tell us more, because I want to learn as well. I'm always learning off people like you and people I interview and adding to my knowledge and my toolkit and things like that.
Okay, so I'll show you a little example, a quick, easy way how you can use the power of love. So let's say your child is building a block tower, a tower with blocks, and it falls over. And our natural instinct is to be like a cheerleader or fix it. So we might run in there and say, oh, like, what's the matter? Are you okay? It's okay. Come on, I'll help you fix the tower. We'll build a better one this time. That's like the natural instinct because we don't want to see them in pain. But what happens, even if we think that we're trying to de-escalate by saying things like, that's going to be better next time, or we might think it's a teachable moment, like, well, you know what? It often turns out that when things like this happen, we learn from our mistakes and the next one will be even better. But those things don't work because there's a disconnect with our kids. In that moment, that child is devastated, and kids live in the moment and they don't have all these years of life experience to determine that castle that they built collapsing is not really a big problem. They don't have the capacity. They're only a few years old, whatever, 4, 5, 6. So they don't have the skills to do that. Plus they live in the moment. And if you have ADHD, you're really living in the moment. So when we're trying to cheerlead or fix the problem, it will actually push the kids and escalate them further because they're feeling like they're not understood, they're not validated. So they better scream louder and show us bigger emotions until we really understand what's going on. So a way that you can use love is deeply listen. And by deeply listening, you're connecting with your child first. They're feeling validated. And then later on, if you want there to be a teachable lesson or some correction, that can happen later. So you say to the child, oh no, the tower broke. Can you make sure that your face and your voice are matching, they're mirroring what your child is feeling? Oh, that tower was so fantastic. You had all these cylinders with the pyramids on top, and it really looked like a real castle, and you worked so hard on that creation. So just by doing this mirroring, a few sentences where you're getting into their world, into their perspective, it lets your child know that you understand them. You're validating their feelings. And here is where the science comes in. This is what I love. I love the science. So this is the neurobiology of love, because when you do that, when your child feels understood by you, something beautiful happens in their brain. their brain starts to release these beautiful opiates and endorphins and a really powerful hormone called oxytocin, which is the love drug. And it goes into their bloodstream. And as soon as it's in their bloodstream, it calms them down at a cellular level. Mm-hmm. There's no reason for them to be screaming and yelling anymore because they've been understood.
Yeah. Beautiful.
And it is beautiful. And the beautiful thing with oxytocin is once it's in their bloodstream and it's calming them down, it's also blocking cortisol, which is the stress hormone.
Yeah. When you were explaining that, I always go on, I don't know why my brain goes, and the flip side is that when we dismiss our kids or we make light of the situation, we don't hear and see their experience and validate that. And we say, it's not a big deal. And like you said, it comes from a good place. Sometimes it comes from a rushed place because we have to get off to work or cook dinner or put them in the shower and things like that. But when we like dismiss or deny and don't hear and see what they're going through, even if it seems really insignificant to us, the cortisol, the adrenaline, even like that fight, flight, we put them in a stress response, a low level or a high level, and we either don't see it, or we see some crankiness or some grumbliness, or they'll actually bloody tell you, you don't get it, or you don't understand, or you always say that. And then we're like, oh, so we have to really, understand, I think, the science behind it. I think that's so powerful.
And then when we get them escalated, it often will escalate us as well. So it's like, it can turn into an ugly situation. And I love what you said about the perspective, because we might be coming from a place of, I'm trying to work from home and I need you to play quietly for 10 minutes. I can't just play quietly for 10 minutes. And they're in their world, they're totally devastated. So when those perceptions are not matching, it's very dysregulating, as you said, for them.
Yes. And imagine if we come home from a gathering, family gathering, or work, or somewhere, we come home and something has upset us and we are really frustrated and dysregulated and we're cranky and things are swirling around in our mind. Imagine if a partner or a spouse or even a friend says, it's not a big deal. Like, why are you even worried about that? Don't worry. I'm sure she didn't mean it. Just
infuriating.
You'd be like, you don't get it. You're not hearing what I'm saying. This is important to me, even if it's not to them. Like it's no different with our kids, just because they're smaller than us, just because they have, like you said, less life experience, less years, and they don't know about the kids starving in Africa. And do you know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter. Meet them where they're at, right?
Yes. Yeah. So really beautiful. You can do this mirroring technique even when they're happy, like I see you're drawing a beautiful picture and you're really focusing on the details on that butterfly wing, and you've used 2 different shades of purple and just really get into their world. And I challenge you parents to try to do this 3 times a day, that connection 3 times a day, that mirroring, and where you're making the eye contact with your child and you're getting right into their world and mirroring how they're feeling. That's like medicine for their brain. It's brain food. Like you're giving them oxytocin. You are calming their nervous system. Amazing.
Yeah. I love these conversations.
And the kids who are emotionally dysregulated with ADHD, they need this more than any other kid, really. Like they really, really need this.
Yeah.
I'll just share a really fun technique for another way that you can release the oxytocin. Before I share that technique, though, I just want to share some of the other benefits of the oxytocin. This is awesome too. Oxytocin speeds up neuroplasticity, so your brain's ability to change and grow. So when you're giving them oxytocin, you're helping their brains grow. You're helping them to make connections, learn faster, remember. It's balancing when their brain is balanced like that, with the love and the brain are in balance. You're not in that survival, fight or flight mode. Oxytocin strengthens the immune system.
Yeah, I was about to say, and the health benefits of oxytocin and feeling good and feeling connected and things like that, versus the constant or the bouts of stress and frustration and things like that. Like if we think of epigenetics and the impact of our emotions and the environment and things on our genes at the cellular level. Like, this stuff blows my mind. It's not like, I love that there's people like you and an ADHD parent coach, people like me, an emotional intelligence parent coach. Like, parent coaching has just come real to the right up to the forefront last 20 or so years, since we have this information about the brain and neuroscience and emotion and behavior. There's so much, I always say to people, there's so much we can be doing to support our child's development so that they're successful, hardworking, driven, but kind and empathetic and resilient kids and adults. You know, it's no longer, well, I do this because my parents did, or, you know, they did that and I turned out all right. I'm like, no. Like, there is so much now. People like you sharing this, especially for ADHD kids, it's so empowering.
And the good news is that there is neuroplasticity. So even if you think, oh, the kid's already 12, I already messed them up because I was yelling and dysregulated and I didn't do any of these things, you can go back. The brain is still growing and changing. It's always growing and changing. So you can start doing this right now and it will have an impact right now. Okay, that cute little fun technique, it's called baby play. So baby play you can do with your kid, even if they're teenagers, they will eat this up, and baby play releases that oxytocin. So it can be just something as simple as taking out their baby blocks and looking at their cute little outfits and cute little pictures and holding it up. Oh, look how cute you were so little. Or like getting right in there and rubbing noses with them. And just like even talking in that goo-goo voice with them. Oh, you're just the cutest thing and I just love you so much. And they eat it. I do it with my teenager. I do it with my tween. And they just kind of melt into it. They love it. And that's giving them medicine for their brain. Oxytocin.
I'm so glad you said this, because even for my oldest, who's 7.5, I know he's still, like, I still feel like they're both little, but they love it when I hold their towel up like a big sheet when they step out of the shower or the bath, and I wrap them, and then I will either dry them and send them off to their room, or they'll say, "Mommy, can you carry me to my room?" And I have to like scoop them up this way. And I'm like, "Oh, you know, my little baby." And they love it. It's like, it's obviously it's not in those moments where they're like, you know, during the day, but we can find and create these moments, right? They're so special.
And a good reminder for us too, because when you've got a teenager that is cranky and slamming doors, and good reminder, look at that baby picture. That cranky teenager is your sweet little baby. Like, good to remind yourself.
I love it. So let me ask, what kinds of things would you suggest parents of kids with ADHD do when they, let's say they are trying some of these strategies and they're implementing them, but maybe in the moment there is, you know, in the moment of a big emotion, or, you know, frustration over home learning, or even with a friendship, how would you bring some of those elements of, you know, acknowledging the emotion with your facial expression and things like that? What's a bit of a, I guess, a framework or a guide for when the emotions are high, what parents can do to support and help their child regulate those emotions?
First of all, you just want to stop, because our instinct is to quickly react. So just stop, take a deep breath. Just get in tune with yourself, because you need to be centered yourself.
Good.
And then try to put yourself in their position and do that mirroring, that talking with them, so that so that they know that they're being understood. Mm-hmm. And after a few minutes, you will see that they'll start to come down. And then at that point, if they're still not settled, then you can offer a strategy to them. So kids need plans in advance. So when I'm feeling upset or frustrated, what can I do? And they should have a list or a visual or something. So maybe they do deep breathing. Maybe they go for a walk. Maybe they have a drink of water. Maybe in my house, we have a punching bag in our basement. And that's a strategy that you're really mad, just go punch the punching bag. So after you've done the mirroring, if they still need another strategy, you can say, okay, how can I help you? What strategy can I do to help you calm down even further? And then the teachable time happens later, when they're calm, when the emotions are out of the way, because when the emotions are high, the intelligence is low. So you can't have a teachable moment. You can't do any of the correcting in that moment. You have to wait until the emotions have passed. And they have to have a chance to feel their emotions and go through that.
Yeah, good point. But what does happen if, I'm sure parents can kind of resonate with this, what does happen if we try to have those teachable moments or those discussions when they are still heightened and emotional?
Not a pretty scene. Right? Because there's this actual switch in your brain. So the prefrontal cortex is responsible for all that logical thinking and the reasoning and the decision making and the inhibition. When the limbic system is in charge, the downstairs brain, it switches off the upstairs brain. So that conversation can't happen.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We just got to wait.
Yep.
We got to allow those emotions, right? I think that is something that I hear a lot of parents struggle to do when we get down to it. I realize, and then they realize that there's such a level of discomfort when our child is sad, angry, frustrated, disappointed, jealous, left out, anxious. We don't like, and we don't feel comfortable often when we see that in our child, right?
And there's often a trigger behind that too. Like, what story are we telling? My child's not happy. Like, I have done something wrong. I'm not a good enough mom. Like, and it just gets right down to your core beliefs and the stories that you're telling yourself. There's so much going on there. But yeah, we have to be comfortable when they're uncomfortable. It's okay. Because feelings are just energy in motion.
Yes. That's true.
Like, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to feel your feelings. It's not okay to behave and react to your feelings in certain ways, but it's okay to have the feelings and feel the feelings and acknowledge them. Actually, they say name it to tame it. So that's something helpful. I know you have a beautiful emotions wheel. So having that posted in your house somewhere so that they can identify how they're feeling in the moment, that can help.
Yeah. I think a lot of parents, go.
You go ahead.
I was going to say, I feel like a lot of parents get a little mixed up or the lines are blurred for them around allowing the emotion and not the behavior. Can you explain a little bit about that sort of difference?
So if your child's feeling really angry and they're taking their anger out by hurting, we always say humans are not for hurting. So if they're taking their anger out by hitting their brother or destroying property or whatever it is, saying all the bad words, like, those are not appropriate ways to deal with the anger. But you need to have those conversations away from the heat of the moment and say, yeah, like, what does anger feel like for you in your body? How do you know that you're angry? Does your face get red? Are your fists clenched? Like, can you feel a tightness in your face? Like, what does anger feel like to you? So help them to recognize what anger is, and then have a conversation. So how do you think we can deal with anger? Because humans are not for hurting. We can't be destroying our house. What can you do when you're angry? So they have a list of options that they've planned out ahead of time. So when anger comes into their body, they can be like, aha, I recognize anger. Here's my choices of acceptable angry behaviors. And give them some outlets too. Like, maybe they need to scream. Maybe they need to step on the front porch and just go, ah, and get it out. I mean, think about when you're really angry. Maybe you want to yell and scream too.
Yeah. And I think for little bodies and little brains and nervous systems, they can't handle that amount of energy and the anger, the cortisol, the adrenaline, that has to go somewhere. It's very hard for kids to just allow those neurochemicals to take, they flood their whole system, right? And then they over time get absorbed by the cells, and then we calm down. But it's hard for a child. Like, we can't expect them just to, squash and absorb. Like, we don't want our child to squash it down. We want to say, yeah, that's going to happen. You're going to feel like that. Me too. And this is how I try and deal with it. We've got to let it out and release a bit of that energy or that emotion, but in a healthy or not a hurtful, dangerous, harmful kind of way. So
I have a student in my class who's only 4 years old, and he recognizes when he gets angry, he'll start to push things. And we have a signal like that's not an acceptable way. And then he'll say to me, I want to go up and down the stairs. And that's what he does. An adult takes him and he walks up and down the stairs to burn that energy. He's 4 and he knows that's what he needs to do when he's angry.
Wow. That's amazing.
He's amazing. Yeah.
Oh gosh, I love it. I'm so glad that we had time to come on today. I want to let you share a little bit about what you've got coming up very soon. Actually, can you share with everyone?
Actually, starting in exactly 24 hours from now, we will be starting a 5-day challenge called How Not to Lose Your Cool, especially when your kids do. So we touched on a lot of the topics right now today. If you have a child with ADHD, we'll be getting a little bit more into the neuroscience of ADHD. We'll be learning how to tame your own triggers so that you can stay cool when things are getting escalated. I'll be giving you a whole bunch of tools that you can use to help your child calm down their emotions. I've been working on it for quite a while, so I'm very excited that tomorrow's the day, 24 hours away.
Yay! That's so exciting.
So I invite all the parents who are watching to join. I guess we'll be sharing a link in the comments, but it's www.badestchallenge.com, and you just register there so that I can have your email address and I'll send you the daily emails. The challenge does take place inside my Facebook community, which is called the ADHD Village. So you need to join the village so that you can see the daily lives. I'll be going live at this time now, every day for 5 days. And I'm so excited. I hope that you can join us.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, we will put the link in the Facebook comments, and I'll see if we can put it in the description as well for people who are watching the replay a little bit later. If you're not catching this live, that's okay. Put down a hashtag replay and say hello. Let us know where you're watching from. We would love to come back and say hi and thank you for tuning in. And head to the baddestchallenge.com. Baddest challenge. So we'll put the link in. But thank you so much, Lara, for jumping on and sharing with us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I love being in your group and chatting with you. Thank you.
Yes, and me, same with me and yours. I love seeing all the posts and everything you share and the interviews you do as well. So, and the challenge is going to be in there, right? So
yes,
that's the place to be. All right, thank you
Bye,
everyone.
parents. Thank you for watching.
Bye. Have a great day, everyone.